Hey, welcome back for another episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. And on this episode, I'm really excited to get into this one. I got Melinda Stallings with me today, and for those of you who don't know Melinda, we're talking about if you could bottle up all of her energy and spread it around, all leaders that you know. Oh my gosh, everybody would be at an 11 for sure. But I'm really excited to have you on this episode, Melinda. Um, can you tell folks watching a little bit about yourself, what you do? Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks so much. I love that, and if I could share all of that energy, well, I do try to share it when I go about. So, great to be here with you, Mark, and to share with your audience. So, I am a professional that has made a lifelong commitment to spreading the power of positivity. My mission in life is to positively impact the collectively, one individual at a time. And that's so important for us right now. I'm an IO psychologist who is also versed in positive psychology and how neuroscience plays into how people work and all of those things that people sometimes think are woo woo that are really science. It's just a matter of adapting and connecting with at the right time. I've been in leadership development for over 25 years. I have co-created or developed hundreds of leadership development programs. My very first leadership program in 1998 is still in existence. Organization I designed it for, of course, with some modifications, but I feel so blessed. I love what I do. I love the people I meet, and I really just enjoy helping people discover or rediscover the greatness in themselves.
I love that. Now I gotta ask, is woo woo, is that a technical industry term or?
Well, Gallup does use it in strengths. You can be a woo, but
Uh-huh.
I think some people think it might be a technical term in industry when they don't want to listen to anything that might be woo woo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as we get started, why are you so passionate about leadership? As a foundational piece for what you do.
Mark, I have survived terrible leadership and I have thrived in great leadership. And I think, you know, the terrible leadership is really the best teacher. I kind of feel awkward saying that, but I know then what I don't want to do. I know what kind of leader I don't want to be. And then I encounter those who are these great leaders who do everything that just embodies the whole notion of wanting to serve people and people want to follow them. Um, I think the other thing is that it's not a skill that, well, maybe there are some people who are natural leaders, but they are few and far between. And it is an area that people really need to have someone to be a sage, to be a coach, to be a confidant, because after all, no one wants to say, well, I'm not sure how to lead. I mean, we're already out there putting out the persona if we have a title. And so it has to be a point where people feel comfortable and just vulnerable enough to make sure that you're able to really connect with them and help them build. And I think that our employees and just the entire landscape of our employment structure is changing so much, and it's critical right now for those core competencies to be addressed so leaders can become more versed in communication and conflict resolution and have their own sense of confidence that helps them to really step in to those challenging times, address difficult situations, and be the behind the scenes motivator, letting people explore, be curious. And all of those skills takes a lot of emotional intelligence while you're trying to juggle strategy and things of that nature.
Yeah, that there's a lot right there. Um, and I love the fact that you started off with talking about negative experiences
Yeah.
and how you can turn those negative experiences with leaders that they didn't match well with you, um, and turn those into a positive for yourself going forward. And I think it's with um, with anything in life that um, if you can learn those lessons, it builds upon your experience as a professional. Uh,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
And you're modeling the way for people. So,
yeah,
you know, the old Fockers thing, right?
yeah.
So
100%. I still do that with my daughter. I'm like, I got you. And
yeah, well,
anytime you
your
get a
employees are saying, I'm
yes.
watching you.
Well, and it's good that they hold you accountable too,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
if not, you don't know what's resonating or not resonating with them. You know,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so you and I have been in leadership roles, for a minute or two, and since we were about 2 or 3 years old, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
exactly, we're gonna go with that. And so some of the challenges that leaders faced when we first started in leadership versus the challenges that leaders face today. What do you see the biggest differences are between today and maybe 20 25 years ago?
I think again, mentioning the landscape and how that's changed post COVID, we now have hybrid work situations, which really um, bring a whole set of new variables into the mix. When I was um, a young professional starting out, we couldn't work from home. We couldn't,
Hmm.
and even if we worked like in a call center environment, we were all in a building together, and you came in every day. So I think that dynamic, sometimes change is forced upon us that allows us to really begin to adapt. But and we are adapting, I think, but I think what's happening is that we're not connecting like we need to. In 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 when I was younger, you would go into the office and you would have formal meetings, but sometimes it was those informal meetings or passing someone in the hallway or just the for lack of better term, the water cooler chat, right? Where you could really learn about who the people on your team were, who the individuals were, and what was important to them, what areas they really like to thrive in the organization. And we're losing that. We're also losing the ability to communicate. We look at a little screen just like this. And so we don't get to see the body language. We can hear inflection.
Yeah.
Sometimes people even turn their screens off. So we get nothing from that, especially if they're just there listening. Honestly, we don't even know if they're there or not, right? It's like,
Or where
hey,
they are.
or where exactly? I have a bot running my camera for me right now. Well, and that a bot, that brings up a whole new conversation. Now we've got AI in the mix. And look, I'm a huge proponent of AI. I think it's going to be great for leadership and for teams, but it has to be used correctly. And I think that there's one of those things where um I'm really going to date myself here. We used to have the old dial ups, and you'd have to wait to log in and to make all
Yep.
that weird noise. And then you'd get connected. Yeah, I know you know what I mean. And
Yes.
and then and then now we've got broadband. So I think that it's important that people begin to really familiarize themselves with AI and how it's going to contribute to leadership, to being a great employee, because you don't want to be stuck in the dial-up stage while the world is moving forward in the broadband stage. And I think people are concerned about, am I going to be replaced by AI? I think the thing that I like to stress for people, and especially for leaders, is, become familiar and let it become your ally. Do not let it replace you. You need to have your own individual voice. You need to be that person that has the emotionally intelligent connections with individuals, that even though we didn't know to call it emotional intelligence back in the day, that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
adapting and connecting to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how you framed AI because um, AI is obviously here to stay. But one of the things that I think that AI can do for people, especially leaders, is help them create better conversations
Mm,
with their employees, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Um, there's technology that can do simulations of conversations, so you can have that confidence going into a tough conversation. It can listen in on our conversations
mm,
to go ahead and help us gain better insights that we were just focused on one piece of the conversation when you missed a whole bunch of other stuff. Um,
beautiful.
and I love how you framed it where it can be AI can really be a value add
Mm.
for leaders if they choose to accept it.
Yeah, yeah. Not to be big brotherish either, like we're going
Exactly.
to record this, AI is going to analyze it. Using it to play to the strengths of people, develop those.
Hmm.
I don't like the word weakness, but develop some of the challenges that they have,
Yep.
right? And I think we've all got to just get a better mindset around the capabilities. It's not any different from a light bulb, from the Ford and the cars. I mean, it's
Hmm.
just another innovation. And we're we're part of the, I think, the experience economy right now, Mark. And
Yeah.
AI can help us to develop better experiences within our workplace, when you can go in and have a prompt and say, here's what I'm struggling with in the workplace based upon all of the research out there. What can
Yeah.
I do to help turn my team around? Now, I don't want to be talking myself out of a job as a consultant, right? But in a pinch, if you need it, I mean, there it is. It's perfect, right?
And um, there's a certain amount of intentionality that leaders have today, I think, as well. That
Absolutely.
because and you brought this up, in the first part of that response, where you're talking about the connectedness that
Mhm,
people had back when we started, versus where you could have the water cooler conversations, and
mhm.
those just all happen very naturally.
Yeah.
And now as a leader, do you see leaders having to be more intentional about their engagement than they ever had before?
Yeah, I do, and I think that's an area where they're not quite sure how to handle that when it comes
Hmm.
to those, well, I call them essential people business skills.
Yep.
It is, how do I communicate? How do I emotionally, intelligently listen, move the organization to the next level by allowing innovative ideas to be brought forth, and not getting stuck in that this is the way we've always done it, because the way we've always done it is in the past, where, as we just
Mhm.
mentioned, that's moving forward. And I love the word intention, and I also like to pair it with deliberateness, um, because you need to be intentional about what you're doing. It needs to come from a positive place of progression for me. I
Mhm.
think for everyone. I mean, no one wants to have a negative work environment, negative ROI, right? But we also have to be deliberate in implementing whatever it is that we have said. Okay, this is going to help us to grow our employees. This is going to help us to have just a beautiful culture where people like to come to work and they want to stay. We don't have
Mhm.
to worry about them leaving, because it all starts with the leadership. And the leadership, when they're intentional and deliberate in making sure that their employees feel cared for, understood, and listened to, I mean, that's the golden ticket right there.
Love it. I love it. One of the ways that you and I got to know each other was by an organization that you lead in Austin, Texas. Um, and that's Disrupt HR.
Uh,
Um, and one of the things that I love about those programs that you offer is you're not telling people what they need. The speakers that you have for those, they're not telling people what they need to do, but hey, here's been my experiences using this approach. And if it works for you, great. If not, forget about it. You know,
Forget about it.
forget about it. Um, so for me, um, that was a way that I could create some professional development for myself and some networking opportunities. Met some great people,
Love
yourself, and a
that.
lot of other people included. But any other tips for how aspiring leaders can create professional development opportunities for themselves or networking opportunities for themselves? And I'll give a shameless plug to Disrupt HR as a great way to do it.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate that so much. That's my passion project for sure.
yeah.
And it is truly a unique networking event that helps people to come together. So much energy there, and the 12 speakers, 5 minutes to present 20 slides that auto advance every 15 seconds. And we leave you with, to your point, that tip that, maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't, but that's one of those things that is required of our speakers. We want the audience to have a takeaway, and we want it to be something that they can immediately apply. And I think that's the other thing. Leaders, to your question, one of the things that leaders need to do is really be aware of what is and isn't working within their teams and have the courage to step up and say, okay, I am noticing this. Maybe the numbers are down, maybe whatever the metrics are that are indicating that, and look for those innovative ideas. One of the best ways to do that is to involve your employees. Those individuals who are making the work happen, a lot of times they have superb ideas, but they're maybe hesitant to bring it up. So I say be curious, be innovative, be strategic, yet be engaged and involving. And it's one of those, it's newer skills. I mean, there are some people who can do it rather naturally, but for the most part, there's almost like left brain, right brain stuff going on at all times now. And it's important that to get the left brain stuff accomplished, that the right brain needs be addressed. Know your people, work with them. I mean, you don't have to be best buds out of the workplace or whatever, but know what makes them tick. Know when they feel really passionate about something, and let them be involved. And that's how you really get the energy and the engagement up. And stay in the networking arena. One of the that Disrupt has been amazing because I have surrounded myself now with amazing individuals and learn how to network properly because there is an art to it.
There is most definitely an art to it. Um, and I would probably add to what you said, always stay authentic. Um,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, um, that's one of the things that as I progress through my career that I've had to learn. I think all of us have had to learn. Um, just be
Mm-hmm.
authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and oversell yourself or
Yeah.
undersell yourself. Just be yourself.
Yeah. There's
Now you
only
haven't
one you. Be you.
exactly, and everybody's perfect just as they are, as our friend
Exactly.
Milan will talk about.
I love that. Exactly.
Um, so you have a new program
I
that you're
do.
launching through the Positive Consultant, and it's called the Positive Approach to Leadership. I believe the acronym is PAL. Um,
Correct? because
Um,
everyone needs a great pal.
Excellent. I would agree. I would totally agree. So it's now available for new enrollees, and this is not a sales pitch, an infomercial or anything, but I want you to talk a little bit about this because I read through some of the information and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And from a networking and from a an always be learning
Yeah.
approach. I mean, it looks like an amazing program. But why should someone that may not be as familiar with the work that you do
Hmm.
and the positive energy and the positive consultant,
Uh-huh.
why should someone consider enrolling in this program?
Because it addresses so many pain points. It addresses some of the things that we've talked a little bit about. When you're not connecting fully with your team, when you are doing the very best you can as a manager and leader, but things just seem to stay off kilter. When you are negotiating, navigating conflicts between team members, when you've got better things to be doing with your time, when people aren't really aware of what the values are, their own values, and then the values of the department, and those are driving business and driving outcomes. And all of those things that I just mentioned, of course, are a drain, right? Productivity decreases, revenues decrease. And not only that, Mark, but let's take it down to a personal level. You're staying up at night, you're driving home, and you're thinking about that person that, came to you with that last minute problem. Now, what I'm going to do with it? I'm bringing work home with me. I'm getting burned out. I know that I'm really good at what I do, but I want to just have a way that I can communicate better with my team so they can take on more of the responsibilities, being really clear on expectations and opening up the pathways for just solid communication that will negate many of those conflicts that happen and those misunderstandings where you're having to go in and navigate that as a leader. Yeah,
I love that. Anytime you can get tips, tools, and tricks that are going to make you a better leader.
yeah,
Some people call AI artificial intelligence. I look at AI as always iterating, and you have to be doing that for
right.
yourself as well, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Um,
true. That's
yeah.
very true. And again, when do they have time to do that? And the
Hmm.
beauty of the program, if you don't mind me just telling a
Go
little bit
right
about
ahead.
it,
Yep.
is there's a 2-day face-to-face for managers and leaders that cover the exact same concepts that your employees are enrolled in a gamified online course. And this is the culture now that they love gamification, right?
Yep.
So
Hmm.
now what I like to say is you're creating a shared language. The concepts are exactly the same that each are going through. You're being coached so you can coach your employees, and your employees are learning, and now they know I can go and kind of like talk about this with my leader. And it doesn't have to be
Yes.
a formal conversation. It can be, when we're chatting before a meeting or if we're in person, really being able to explore the concepts. And that's what I've seen happen,
Hmm.
both getting really excited because they are sharing a common language and they feel like, oh, we're finally in the same boat, rowing the same way.
Yes. How many times over your career have you seen um, a leadership training that somebody had to go to that was like that you knew this is just a flavor of the month, you know?
Exactly. Yes.
And it doesn't become sticky and some people resonate to or
Yeah,
gravitate towards it and doesn't resonate with others and so I love the fact that you're looking at this. I mean, your program looks at it from an angle of this is not the flavor of the month, this is the flavor of the organization.
exactly. I love that. I might use that.
Go right
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Addressing the core competencies. We started
Yep.
this with people need to know what the core competencies are, what the expectations are, and how we can build. But yeah, I love the flavor of the organization because truly, Mark, that is what it's all about.
Yep.
How are we living the values and the mission of the organization? What does every one of our actions do? And how are we implementing immediately and following up, following through? Yeah.
Yes. I love the follow up and follow through part of that
Mm.
because
Yeah,
too often what's good for the frontline leadership isn't always good for what the senior leadership feels they need.
exactly. There's different
And
responsibilities, right? Yeah,
yep,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so we're getting towards the end, but I always am interested in people's response to this question. Um, you know, at this point in your career, you wish you could go back in time and tell my younger self X. And how would that knowledge have helped you navigate your career if you can go back in time and tell your younger self something?
Yeah. Somebody asked me that about would you go back to college? And I said, yes. And they said, well, what would you do differently? And I said, I would have more fun than I did the first time because I
There
didn't
you go.
realize that was my last hurrah, right? Uh, but to your
I
point,
love it.
I think, and I think it's along the same lines,
Mhm.
relax a little bit. I
Mhm.
think that we're so eager beavers when we first begin our careers. And while that's good, I think I would surround myself with people that I could learn from. I definitely would find mentors along the
Mhm.
way. And I would not be in such a hurry and take more time to discover truly what I think I want to do with my life. What career path do I want to choose? Doesn't mean that you can't change it,
Yep.
but I think that especially right now, our younger society individuals have a tendency to, if I don't like this, I think the average is like 18 months that they stay somewhere. No
Hmm.
harm, no foul, but you can't really develop skills and abilities with like just a concentration of some ways of learning particular tasks, and then you can maybe move them forward. But um, relax a little bit. Don't be so um, just so ready to move on to the next thing, and sit in the discomfort sometimes. I think that might be what happens, is that I don't like this, and so I'm leaving. And I learn when I'm on the mountaintop, but I can tell you, I sure learn a lot more from those terrible leaders and when I'm sitting in stuff that I don't want to sit in. So I learn what to do to get out of it, right? Yeah.
Smart enough to get yourself into a situation, but also smart enough to know when to get out of it. So
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Well, we've gotten to the speed round, Melinda. Are you ready
Oh,
for this?
okay.
Dun dun
So,
dun. So, first question.
okay.
What fun fact about Melinda would people be surprised to learn about you?
I'm an ambivert, and so I love to be with people, but when I am home, I have to recharge. So, yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, that and Um, I'm a geek, but I don't know, people might know that already.
I love that you said ambivert. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, excellent. So on a stressful day, you've
Mm.
just had one of those days. What's your go-to tactic for unwinding?
I love nature, and I taught yoga for 20 years as well, Mark. So I have a lot of mindful practices
Hmm.
that I also bring into my programs. But for me, it is my backyard is my sanctuary,
Hmm.
and so I love to go when it's not 105 outside. I like to go just relax in my backyard. I love nature, so I will take a walk, find there's lots of trails nearby, and
Hmm.
I'll do that. And sometimes it's just honestly meditate, just sit and be. So I can just either get a download or just get nothing at all and come away refreshed and relaxed. And I think that's a point, people do need to just stop and be. We're in the busy society now, but we're human beings, not human doings.
Love that. That's awesome. Well, as we've talked about, it's summer in Central Texas.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
105, even if it's not the outside temperature, it sure as heck feels like it. But do you have a favorite summer treat?
Always ice cream.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
ice cream. I
Not
I
trying to
love.
plug any one place or another, but where's your go-to?
Well, I live like in the middle of practically nowhere, so it's challenging. I have to go in a while. So uh sometimes it's just Bluebell out of my
There you go.
refrigerator, or a sorbet or a yogurt from that I pick up from the I love gelato. If I could find gelato here, I would definitely be naming the place I was going, but I can't find good gelato here. Do
I,
you know a place?
I mean, oh, my daughter loves going over to Tony C's Pizza because she gets gelato after she finishes dinner.
Okay, I'm
Um,
checking that out this weekend.
there you go. There you go. And I'm like, yeah, gelato's pretty darn cool. So
Mm-mm.
excellent.
Mm.
So if someone wants to pick your brain about, some of the work that you do with
Yeah.
organizations, maybe even work that you may do with individuals, any leadership resources that you could recommend to them, or what conferences, events you may be attending or producing, as in Disrupt HR, how could they go ahead and contact you?
They can reach me personally, Melinda at thepositiveconsultant.com. My website is thepositiveconsultant.com. Amazing how that works out. I would
Yeah,
really like to steer people towards disruptHRaustin.com. Our event is September 10th. So if you can join us, it is a raucous, rebellious, wonderful evening. Your ticket gets you amazing catered food and drinks and amazing networking there. Back to me, I'm on LinkedIn as well, Melinda Stallings, and yeah, reach out to me. I would love to talk with you, whether that's just getting to know you, because I love that. I'm a firm believer in building relationships, and then we can explore maybe possibilities after that and how I can serve you as well, right?
I love that. Well, I know I will definitely be seeing you at the next Disrupt HR. I love attending the events. The venue is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Um, and you're right, the food and the drink is pretty darn good too. But I always say that the food and the drink and the atmosphere are good. It's the conversations and the interpersonal interactions that make it great, and there's a lot of that going on there. Uh,
100%. Thank you for that, Mark. I'm so
yeah.
glad you enjoy yourself when you're there. I can tell when you're there too that
Yeah. Well,
here's Mark.
we I'm just all over the place.
Where's
Um,
Waldo?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this has been great, Melinda. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to, spend to have a conversation with me about leadership and some of the work that you do and what you're seeing out there in the leadership landscape today.
Thank
And
you.
for anybody watching this, definitely reach out to Melinda. She is a wealth of knowledge.
Thank
I
you.
would, even if you get like coffee with her at some point in time,
Or
just to
ice
sit
cream.
down, yeah, or ice cream. It is summer. Take advantage of that time because
Thank you.
you will gain so much from even the shortest of conversations with her.
Mm.
Um, and if you like this episode, please, as my daughter says, please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Um, And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. But once again, Melinda Stallings, thank you very much for being a guest on this episode.
Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it.